Parts of northern and southern California are dealing with growing wildfire danger this weekend. Hundreds of people were forced to flee from Sonoma and Lake counties. That's north of San Francisco. A fire there has destroyed dozens of homes and burned more than 25,000 acres of land. And with historic winds in the forecast, the state's largest utility company is considering another round of intentional power outages. It's an attempt to prevent more fires from starting in the northern half of the state. In Southern California, firefighters contained about 10% of the tick fire. Janet Shamlian reports from Santa Clarita, about 35 miles north of LA.
More than 4,000 acres consumed and at least 40,000 residents forced to leave their homes. The wind-driven tick fire is burning through canyons and neighborhoods in Santa Clarita.
You have to be physically ready. You have to have all your things ready to leave, this time of year.
Kevin Kinney watched his neighbor's house destroyed by flames.
So that missed you by 2 houses.
Yeah.
At least 6 homes have been consumed by the fire. 7 others have been damaged.
I'm overwhelmed, depressed.
David Chambers obeyed evacuation orders, returning to find an upstairs window shattered by an explosive water drop.
A huge blast. But again, I saved the house.
The worst is still ahead, forecasters say. Dire predictions for an historic wind event Sunday and Monday, with gusts up to 80 miles an hour in Northern California, where the larger scale Kincade fire has placed entire counties under a thick veil of smoke.
We are preparing for what is likely going to be a widespread safety shutoff.
The state's largest utility, PG&E, warned it may cut electricity for a 3rd time in 3 weeks ahead of the worsening conditions, potentially leaving millions without power. The utility is investigating whether the fire was sparked by a transmission tower that had not been de-energized.
They simply did not do their job.
California Governor Gavin Newsom was critical of the company.
We should not have to be here. Years and years of greed. We will get out of this mess. We will hold them to an account that they've never been held in the past.
Back in Santa Clarita, some residents have made their way home.
I want to sleep. I want to be with my animals.
I believe they lifted the evacuation notice, and hopefully they'll open the roads pretty soon.
All right, for more on this, let's bring in Candace Crone. She's a reporter for our CBS station in Los Angeles, KCBS. So, Candace, explain where you are right now and what you're looking going ahead.
Yeah, but we're at the command center, which is about a mile away from the fire lines. Now, this is where fire officials go over the logistics, where crews eat and sleep, where the engines are stationed. We do know that this is where they deploy from to go out to the fire. And so at this point, there are 1,325 fire personnel as part of this operation. We could start to see those numbers drop possibly today, just depending on the fire and containment and also the winds, Vlad.
So what are you learning about evacuation orders?
Well, initially, some 40,000 people were ordered to evacuate, but those numbers have dropped significantly. Some folks were able to go back to their communities, to their neighborhoods last night around 7 o'clock. And so there still are mandatory evacuations, though, in place in several neighborhoods near the fire. For the most part, the active flames are out, but crews just want to make sure that there's no hot spots or no embers spark a new fire. So they'll be reevaluating those areas that are under mandatory evacuation today, and then hopefully letting those people go back in at some point later.
And Candace, we've been showing pictures of the flames and some of the damage. What are we looking at in terms of damage?
Right, well, we just got an update about damage, and 9 homes were destroyed, 9 others were damaged. We do also know that there were some cars possibly burned. More than 4,600 acres also charred in this area, and so, of course, crews will continue to reassess that. But for the most part, those 9 homes that were burned and the 9 that were damaged, that should remain the same.
And historic winds, as you know, are forecasted for this weekend, Candace. How are people preparing?
That's right. We are expecting another Santa Ana wind event starting tomorrow through Monday. And so many of the people in the community that I've been speaking with say that, they've taken the lesson. They have a bag packed. They're ready to go. Although they're, very anxious to still be at home, they're certainly not taking anything seriously, especially with this tick fire. We also saw with the Saddle Ridge fire as well. And so many people are just hoping for the best, but they are certainly ready to go at a moment's notice.
All right, Candace Crone for us. Thank you, Candace. We appreciate it.